Hi guys, it's Grandpa again. We're going to keep going on our Poppy book. We're closing in on the end of the book. In our last chapter, we read where Poppy poked the quill into one of Okax's paws, and he took off and flew through the air very wildly while she hung on to that quill, and she was going for a wild ride. And he went straight across the yard very fast, right towards that salt lick, and she let go and dropped to the ground, but Okax went head first into that big salt lick and broke it to pieces, but it also broke him to pieces, and when we ended the chapter, he was on the ground and he died. And that's where we left off. Today we're on chapter 19, says 1-9, and it's called The Return. For a long time, Poppy gazed at the lifeless body of Mr. Okax. She thought she should be feeling triumphant joy. Plain gladness would have been good enough. But somewhere she did feel pride. But small as it was buried very deep. What Poppy felt most was weariness, as if she had aged 4 seasons over the last hour. She felt old. Before her on the grass lay one of Mr. Okax's feathers. Poppy had never really looked at an owl's feather before. This one was actually quite lovely. It was a mottled brown color with a white tuft on top, soft as baby's breath. She picked it up. In the breeze, the veins stirred slightly. With a sigh, Poppy slipped the feather into her sash. Then she turned and looked at the cornfield. At first she thought what she most desired was to lay down and sleep. It was growing dark. But a moment's thought later made her realize sleep was impossible. No, what she needed to do was to tell someone about her discoveries and what had happened. She crossed the dirt road, moved along the edge of the forest. There was enough of the porcupine's lingering scent for Poppy to find the trail that Eureka had used to go from his home to the field. For once, and it made her smile, she was grateful for the old fellow's stinkingness. Plunging directly into Dimwood Forest, Poppy traveled slowly, methodically, taking the time for proper precautions. Now and again she paused to absorb the lush view, the way the sunlight flittered through the fragrant air, a very tall tree, a particularly beautiful fern, a bush laden with blackberries as big as her head. When Poppy finally reached Eureka's log, she paused long enough to contemplate Mr. Okax's now abandoned snag. Who, she wondered, would live in that now? Eureka! She called into the log from the entryway. Are you home? Eureka! In response, there was some scratching and snorting from deep within. Is that you, Eureka? Who the snail squirt is that? Came the gruffled growl. Can't a creature have any privacy around here? Beat it, unless you want to eat a quill sandwich. Eureka, it's me, Poppy. Who? Don't you remember? Poppy. Poppy, came the echo, with more enthusiasm than before. A great rattling and shuffling could be heard. Then the Eureka's grisly flat face loomed out of the darkness. Is that really you, girl? So where is it? Where is what? The salt. Didn't you bring it? Eureka, it's about Mr. Okax. I don't give a flea's flick for that jerk of an owl. Now where's my salt that you promised me? It's there, Eureka, by new house. It's all broken up and it's on the ground. On the ground? Eureka shrieked. What's it doing there? Eureka, I couldn't carry it. And besides, on the ground? Great snail swoggle. It'll melt to nothing. and the porcupine went barreling past her so fast Poppy had to leap to the side. The next moment, he was all but running down the trail. "Can I sleep here?" Poppy called after him. "Can't stop to talk," Eureka called back. And then, indeed, he was gone. Poppy stepped into the log, lay down, and went to sleep at once. She slept until the sun was high. When she woke up, Eureka had not yet returned, so she went out, found some seeds, ate them, returned to the log, and slept again until dusk. This time, when she awoke, Eureka was there. He was chewing, in a slobbering kind of way, on a chunk of salt. "Hello," Poppy said. Eureka didn't even look up. "Delicious! Best salt I ever ate." He licked his lips. "Awesome!" "Then you got some of it?" "Some of it? I got all of it. I'm just about ossified." Means he's turned to salt. "This is the last bit. It was all pure, wonderful salt. Absolutely delicious. Amazing. Divine." "Eureka?" "What's that?" "Did you see Mr. Oacax?" "Oh, yeah. Him. Dead. What happened?" Poppy told him. The porcupine, though busy with the salt, slowed his slobbering down so that he could listen. When Poppy finished her story, she asked Eureka, "What do you think?" Eureka shook his head. "Never thought I'd appreciate that owl's hard head. But if what you say is true..." "It is." "Well, I'm grateful he broke up this salt lick. Really, Poppy, it's incredible stuff. Here, you want some? I mean, just a small taste?" "Eureka?" "What's that?" "I'm going home now. May I come back and visit?" Sure, Poppy, anytime. And bring some salt." "I'm going now." "Poppy!" "What?" "You're the salt of the earth." Poppy crossed Glitter Creek by using the bridge. The rest of the way she traveled by the side of the tar road. By the time she reached Gray House, it was late. The first thing she noticed was that the red flag was flying. She climbed the porch steps slowly. Instead of going right inside, she took a peek. The entire family was gathered in the front parlor. Lungwort stood on top of the old straw hat, apparently in the middle of a speech. And here's a picture of Poppy crossing the bridge across Glitter Creek. And so, dear friends, we will have to break up the family. Yes, disperse. Go our separate ways. Forage on our own. There is insufficient food for us here. But first, I wish to engage in a brief memorial tribute to our full family, which... Poppy? Is that you, Poppy? She stepped inside. All of the mice turned to stare. Poppy gazed at them. Then she pulled the feather out, Mr. Oacax's feather, from her sash and held it aloft for all of them to see. "Mr. Oacax is dead," she said solemnly. "And I can tell you that new house is right next to a big field of corn that has enough food to feed us all forever and ever." "Ah, Poppy," Lungwort exclaimed triumphantly. "Didn't I say that if you listened to my advice, all would be well?" And here's a picture of that. Lungwort up here with his hat, and little Poppy standing in the door with Mr. Oacax's feather. And that's the end of that chapter. We'll be back and finish the rest later. Bye.